main. We have Marlon Chito Vera coming in 22-7-1 versus Corey Sandhagen 15-4-0.
Yeah, I think this is an amazing fight. I like both of these guys a lot. Well, I'm a big fan of both of these guys. I think Sandhagen's one of the best guys in the division for sure. He looked great in his last outing against my friend and teammate Song Yadong from Alpha Male in California. Song looked good in the fight too. He just got cut pretty early, and it looked like it was impeding his ability a little bit. It was a close back and forth fight. I think the final round before it got stopped by doctor stoppage, it looked like Sandhagen had taken that round for sure, and maybe a little bit of the momentum as well. But Song looked great in that fight, who's also an absolute killer. So I think Sandhagen beating Song like that says a lot, especially after kind of a few losses, even though they were against like the best guys in the world. Sandhagen's definitely one of the best guys in the world. He's an absolute killer, great footwork. Like you said, he's been mixing in the level changes a lot and putting that into guys' heads. Doesn't look like he's chasing the takedown too much, but like you said, he'll mix it in there and just kind of like treating it like it in and of itself is another strike, right? Rather like he's up on the feet striking. He's not thinking of it like, okay, strike, and then when I'm ready to wrestle, I'll shoot. He's just like, okay, I'm striking, and level changing and shooting in for a takedown is a strike to me from his perspective. He tends to outpoint guys. Obviously, there was the cut stoppage in the last one. He's won with flying knee and spin hook kicks to the head. But we're not, especially at the highest level, haven't seen a whole lot of stoppages from hands with him. Then on the other side, you've got Chito Vera. Huge fan of this guy too, an absolute killer. Like the dangerous thing about Chito Vera is everything that he throws has bad intentions, and it's like mean. It's not just like hard punches. It's knee stomps, it's calf kicks, it's elbows, it's flying knees, it's front kicks up the middle, it's toe stabs. It's like anything he's going to hurt you with isn't with the intention of outpointing you and like scoring more than you in a round. It's like just to try and hurt you, right? I think that's kind of the most polar opposites part of their striking game is Sandhagen will have mean stuff in there. Like he has one by flying knee, he has one by spin hook kick, but for the most part, he's like looking to pick you apart and dissect you. And if he gets the stoppage, that's awesome. But he's more so like trying to take your defenses away. He's trying to make you feel less comfortable on the feet. He's outscoring you until he gets a stoppage or until he gets a decision. Chito doesn't seem to really care about decisions whatsoever. Like he kind of gives rounds away. He starts kind of slow, but he fights at his own pace. Like he's like, I'm not concerned about how you're fighting. I'm going to fight my fight, and I'll pick it up as we go. He sometimes lets rounds get away from him, but he's so dangerous that it often works out, especially over a 5-round fight. Like if this were a 3-round fight, I'd think completely differently. If it were a 3-round fight, I'd think Sandhagen's going to win it. I think because it's 5 rounds, I think Chito Vera is going to win it. He has more time to operate. He can fight at a little bit of a slower pace. He doesn't need to throw as much volume, and he has more time to land that devastating finishing shot. I think 2 fights that give us a good look into this fight are Chito Vera versus Rob Font and Chito Vera versus Dominic Cruz, right? Sandhagen's different from both of them. He's kind of somewhere between the two, where like he uses more footwork laterally. He's a little bit more feinty, and Cruz has that like unorthodox footwork and unorthodox head movement. Sandhagen's got a bit of that, whereas Font's like a very traditional, like beautiful boxing, lots of in and out feints with the jab, in and out feint with the jab, and front kicks up the middle and hard 1-2s, double jab crosses. Sandhagen's kind of halfway between those guys, where he's like fairly technical and by the book, but also like puts his own flair on it, kind of like Cruz does. In both of those fights, Chito was getting kind of outpointed and was kind of like losing at times, and then he'd land a devastating shot. So against Font, he landed a side kick to the head. He landed, I think, another head kick. He kept rocking Font every round badly to where you think the fight's going to be over. And again, he's like taking his time. He's like, I don't really seem to, he doesn't seem to care if there's 20 seconds left. He's like, I'll beat you up enough. I'll catch you again later. If you survive the round, like I'll catch you again. Which is like fucking intimidating. man. Like, that's scary. A guy who's just like, yeah, I'll just keep my guard up high and I'll walk you down over 5 rounds. And if you take me down, that's fine. I'll elbow the hell out of you, and I'm going to try and triangle you and try and arm lock you off my back. When you create space, I'll kick you off and get up. I'm not going to rush back to my feet. I'm in no rush. So I like
it is a hell of a mindset. He just doesn't give a shit. Like, he's fearless in every moment, in every concept of his life. Like, he's like, yeah, okay, I accept it, and now I'm going to move forward with it.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty gangster way to fight. Like, he's much more like Muay Thai style than the Diaz brothers, but the Diaz brothers have kind of had that mentality too, where they're like, you know, they talk about they've never lost a fight, they've just run out of time type thing, right? Cheeto's never been finished, at least in the UFC, right? Yeah, I don't think he's ever been finished. Then yeah, he's his performances keep improving, even though he hasn't won a crazy amount in a row. Like, you know, he's had a couple losses in there. He's improving every fight. He's looking a lot better. He's looking more dangerous every time. He looks like he's figuring out his fight style more and more. I think as long as he doesn't give away too many rounds and allow Sandhagen to survive, you know, I think he wins this fight. But that's not to take away from Sandhagen, man. I'm a huge Sandhagen fan too. I think he's an absolute killer. I think he's got a really high fight MMA IQ. That fight with Dillashaw was one of the best MMA fights I've ever seen. It was probably the closest MMA fight I've ever seen in my life. I had no idea who won that one. He looked good against Petr Yan. He won the first 2 rounds for sure. And then Yan came back and got the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But yeah, man, it's a really cool fight. I am leaning toward Chito Vera in this one, though.
He used the Dominic Cruz fight as an example because the footwork, he is sort of trying to emulate Dominic Cruz. He comes in sort of on that angle, pendulums in and out. The one thing he actually did good against Dominic Cruz, Chito Vera, was he actually started using those leg kicks to corral him in and put him where he wanted him, and that set up the head kick eventually at the end of that fight. So it is sort of interesting to see if – I know that Sandhagen's probably going to have tape, and he's going to watch probably that fight the most because that's going to be the, you know, what Chito would bring to the table against him. So, you know, he's a student. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be a chess match back and forth. Maybe Vera's more just of a dagger right through it, but Sandhagen's going to try to figure his way out all the way through, and I think he is going to make the adjustments. I'm on the other side of this one, man. Right now, Bet99 has Chito Vera plus 136 dogs, so great. To get Marlon Vera as a dog is always a good thing. Sandhagen minus 167, the favorite. And then for Bet99, the KO for Vera is plus 350.
Okay.
And I'm on the other side of it. I'm on a Sandhagen decision. So Sandhagen plus 125. And I mean, really, this fight could play out so many times, and you're going to have them go 5 rounds, and it's going to be a certain amount of times that Vera catches Sandhagen in the 4th or 5th round, and a certain amount of times it goes to decision, and it could be either way, really. So yeah, you're almost talking into Vera, but I can't flip flop now. We're too close to fight time. So
Fair.
I know that you also.
I'm Mike Malott. Tune into the Don't Tap podcast.
Hey, I'm UFC President Dana